Hello again. I slathered myself in glue and I'm stuck to this couch. I don't even own it. It's rented. Well, since I'm stuck here, I might as well binge Salmonella content. Now, who is Salmonella, I may hear you ask? It's the guy who makes MP4s and posts them on YouTube. They're usually about historical or science-related topics. His content is essentially oversimplified Lycan content, but edgy and more funny. He hasn't uploaded in a long time, which makes me more and more worried that each passing day the "see you all in 2025" joke was not in fact a that. I got 60 videos to watch and did not give. And the longest one, 10 minutes, so I can do this. I'm going by the years and an order of release. Start date is 13th of June 2016. Hey, this is August 5th to me, and he released a new video 45 minutes ago. First video, The Fire, Miscellaneous Mondays. This video is about Samuel talking about an experience he had as a wee little lad, where some guy for some reason that he does not know started a fire in some way, shape, or form. There were sirens, most likely the fire department, and to my knowledge, Samuel is not a ghost from this. The video just ain't that funny. It isn't personal, I'm not upset, but what's there is there. I won't be able to give a lot of insight into every video, just so you know, because this is my first time doing something big like this. Second video, How to Gain Weight, Tips Tuesday. He talks about ways to gain weight. He says to eat the meat. He additionally says to eat the peanut butter, for it has the ingredients for a good diet. I love eating and maintaining a good source of calories. Yeah! It isn't just a tip video, so
I'm Paula D.
Third video, The Shrike, Wildlife Wednesday. It's about a bird. The bird video is here and have been for 7 years. It's a video about a messed up bird and how the birds. It was the first video to give me a mild chuckle. Good job, Samuel. You did it good. Yeah. Fourth video, Tycho Brahe. That happened Thursday. It's not Wednesday. I'm dumb. It's a video about an astronomer who's also stinking rich and a lunatic. He got into a sword duel and lost part of his nose. Then later he did it again and lost the rest of it. He got a fake nose. He'll be fine. He hired the guy with dwarfism and just thought he could tell him the future. Where did he figure that? I don't know. By when a couple screws loose, I guess. And Samuel is continuing the path to become more funny in his content. Fifth video, A Brief History of Sushi, Food Fridays. It is a video that just talks about the history of sushi. Fish was stored with old rice and people liked the taste. A little while later they began to pickle their rice, making it smell less. He talked about pre-World War II tensions and how sushi was less so popularized. A long time after World War II, it began to become more popular. So now you can buy your raw fish everywhere. It isn't that funny at all, but it's enjoyable to watch. Now I'm including this for myself, but the ranking of the videos so far is number 1, The Shrike, number 2, Tycho Brahe, number 3, How to Gain Weight, number 4, A Brief History of Sushi, and number 5, The Fire. Sixth video, Why Thorium Rocks, Science Sundays. It is literally just a video talking about why thorium is the future of power. That is it. It ain't that funny, it's just a dude talking about thorium and how it works. Overall, it's enjoyable, going above How to Gain Weight. I'm a leader, I'm organized, I'm dedicated. Yeah! Seventh video, A Childhood Story, Miscellaneous Mondays. This one was short, the shortest one I've seen so far, but it's fucking funny. It's some story about when he was 11 years old, okay? There were some other kids at the function at a place. I'm leaving it at that. The older kid went to the bathroom to piss. Then the younger kid came in and started poking his balls.
The counselors ask him what happened. Tyrone points at Carl and says, "He pushed me." They ask Carl if it was true, and Carl gives the full explanation of what actually went down in the bathroom. So it turns out Carl was just at the urinal, minding his own business, when Tyrone walks in, walks right up to him, and starts poking him on the balls while he's peeing. So Carl, who was still, midstream, couldn't really use his hands to stop him, so he reflexively did this sort of hip check to push the kid away. The kid hits the ground, immediately starts crying, and runs out of the bathroom.
The older kid rammed him with his hip and he cried. They questioned the two of them and the young kid said this.
So the counselors excused Carl and politely asked Tyrone what he was doing touching an older boy's nads. Tyrone replies, I just wanted to make sure he got all the pee out.
That was quite a humorous blunder of a child, I may say. Top of the list. 8th video, Beginner's Guide to Unicycling. Tips Tuesday. It's alright. It's an improvement over the last Tuesday one of this type. It's a bit more funny and a bit more consistent with the comedy. Overall, I will put above a brief history of sushi. 9th video, Literal Animal Planets, Wildlife Wednesday. Finally, the cat circle. What if we slapped all of one species of a given animal into a ball? Samuel has the people, the planet, and Earth covered with his immense knowledge and Eminem YouTube poop. This is real. It's not super funny, but it's a bit more enjoyable and watch all around. Going above Tycho Brahe and long facial hair. Look at the curve. 10th video, where religious symbols come from. That happened Thursday. Well, I'm 10 videos in, might as well move on. This video is about, what do you think it's about? It is kind of funny, gave me a mild chuckle a few times. So earned the star if you did good. Also, it had 10 out of 10, eat your heart out Shakespeare. Going above Tycho Brahe and his ability to contort my thoughts about who I find attractive with the power of the 11th, produce section poisons, Food Fridays. This one is so much better than the last Food Friday, it isn't even funny. Except this video, which is quite humorous, I may add. It has overt scenes of people using their bodily functions a bit too much to the point it's gross because they ate food that had poison. This video made me laugh the first time since the second Miscellaneous Monday, but that one was still way more funny with the joke and the story, going just under it. 12. The forms of carbon and alcoholic drinks. He ditched the daily category thing with this video in particular, which makes sense. How many Food Fridays could you make? If you had the keys to that kingdom, your head would blow up on the spot. Now, what about the video? Meh. It's not funny and seems like a bit of filler content. Unlike the fire, it's just not enjoyable. We found our first bad Samuel MP4, so I'm just gonna take back that star and $5 if I'm polite enough. Also, I think I may have just goofed on the list part. Where is the forms of carbon? Okay, well, it's somewhere around here, just so you know. Okay, it's at number 43 for some reason. I'll just have to fix that real quick. 13th. Dog breed deformities. Samuel rants about dogs, not MP4. His rants about dogs and some of the horrid breeds is actually pretty funny. His joke about telling the nurse to Put the baby with the characteristics of a pug back in. Pretty funny, I'll admit. Pregnant Samuel moment. Him insulting some of the breeds is also profound in the capabilities of the ways of the forms of entertainment that is comedy. Him saying Chihuahua excellent rankness is very true. In all of my life, I have only met one truly nice Chihuahua, which is a shared experience with my dad, going above the Shrike. Oh sweet. Arson. 14th, an open letter to Swissmith. Have you ever wanted an unfiltered rant about crappy hot chocolate? You want to include talks of primal rage and diarrhea having cats? Well, do I have a piece of internet media for you? It talks about the non-sophistication of the packaging, the non-resourcefulness of the cardboard usage, and the non-fantastic taste of the chocolate, which Samuel describes as,
and it tastes like piss. Swiss Miss Instant Piss.
it is really funny with multiple great jokes rather than that one going at the top of the list. 15th, how to read fire diamonds. And how dangerous is sodium metal? How flammable is gasoline? How fire is Samuel's mixtape? Well, here he is to answer the questions that school says are important for some reason. A fire diamond shows how dangerous something is on 4 scales: flammability, health, reactivity, and other risks. It isn't that funny, but it's enjoyable, above literal Animal Planet. And now my watch is going off. Baby, bap bap, bap bap, bap bap. Shut up, please. Number 16th. The Bombardier Beetle. It's a video about a bug that shoots boiling temperature juice out of its butt. The beetle has 2 containment areas in its behind, and when the chemicals in the 2 mix in the 3rd area, the gas builds up fires out the forbidden juice into the faces of its foes. That's a couple of good jokes going over the previous video. This is yet a slang words that I don't understand. At number 17, I forgot to say 17. I am great at this. We got the nuts video. Finally, it's a rant about some dumb slang words and how they confront little old Samuel. My favorite part of the video is when he talked about blow. If you know, then you know. Where he showed the guy just blowing the cocaine flour all over the place. It's a fun watch going over the Shrike. 18. In South Sudan, the world's newest country. Okay, let's see what's going on in the inscription over here. Took me a little while to get this video out, both because it ended up being way longer than I intended, and because I've been too busy spanking the This video talks about South Sudan, their entire history summed up quickly. It shows how they went ahead and got their independence in one line. Then it shows how they went to war against the South twice. Then the South became self-governing and later independent. Then the Civil War, so yeah, they kind of suck. It isn't all too funny going above how to read fire diamonds. 19. Baby superpowers. No, babies cannot fire lasers from their eyes, sadly. It talks about the strengths that babies have, like being able to support their body weight with one hand or their ability to slow their heart rate while underwater. The video is pretty funny actually. It talks about how babies are seductive, not that weird. They're biologically meant to be kind of cute. Going above South Sudan. Yes, canonically babies are better than South Sudan. 20th, Fidel Castro's Dairy Adventures. I can't believe I forgot again. Have you ever wanted to see Fidel Castro try to make a super cow? No? Get out of my house? So, this video is about Castro and his escapades in making dairy products. He made a massive dairy product complex that, to my expansive knowledge of a building I learned of 5 minutes ago, it's still open. It has some pretty funny moments of the Super Cow Castle had in the scene of all of the milk flying into the air. So, yeah. His videos are getting more and more messed up now. This is probably one of his last videos that's trying to be formal in parts, going above slang words I don't understand. Number 21, Cicada Birds. This video is about bugs. And not just any bug, they have wings. Cicadas come in swarms every how many years and annoy the out of everyone with their loud noises. He linked the website so you can find out how many years you will continue to have hearing for. Going about the shrike. After this, I'll show the list thus far. 22nd, the Great Emu War. Australia was in the Great Depression, okay? There were a bunch of emus destroying the crops and being a nuisance. So the government decided the best course of action was to go on a killing spree. It didn't work, only 900 plus died. It's pretty funny, none of the jokes were laugh out loud funny though. And going above the previous video, now here's the list so far. I was not expecting Samuel to have uploaded 1/3 of his content in his first year. I will still be doing the yearly thing, but this is just for convenience sake. 23rd. It's about straws. What do you want me to say? It has some good jokes, it's a bit more vulgar. Enjoyable enough, that's about it. Going above Cicada Birds. 24. Deformities that you might have. He talks about the body deformities that might be unknown to the person, like the fact that you could have an inverted chest cavity, and by that I mean all your organs are mirrored from left to right. He also talked about babies and what happens if you do liquids during pregnancy. It has some quite informational facts and humor segments, going above the forms of carbon and alcoholic drinks. Also, I'm sorry that I kind of messed up the list a bit, but the final list will have everything figured out, and everything will be fine from there, so don't worry too much. 25. Why it sucked to be a pirate. This video talks about the realities of being a pirate. It goes into detail about how disgusting the food was, the diseases and sickness, and the brutality tactics that were used. It is easily the goriest video of Samuel so far, and it ends on a sex joke. What's not to love? I just looked up from my phone while reading the script and I saw something. Going about slang words. 26. Creative weapons of the medieval era. Samuel talks about some unique weapons and contraptions from the medieval period. He talks about the werewolf, which was the massive trebuchet at 6 stories tall. He talked about the story of just why it was created and in which way it was used. It has some parts that invoke a light chuckle. A great balance of information and humor. Going above produce section poisons. 27. Obscure units of measurement. Have you ever wanted to hear Samuel talk about turning babies into sloths? No? Shut up. This video is informative and amusing. The video talks about some measurements that revolve around pain, the health of a baby, and Waffle House. It mixes information and humor better than the last one, going above the last one. 28. Animal weaknesses. This one was not humorous. It had one good joke at the end and that was it. It had information on some popular animals and the weaknesses they have. Ferrets for some reason get clogged up with junk easily. Sharks always have to keep swimming or they will suffocate. Stuff like that. Going above where religious symbols come from. 29. Why the chicken got domesticated. Chicken video. But in all seriousness, it's alright and has a few humor jokes. Has enough information like when approximately the chicken got domesticated, some info about the consequences of laying eggs, and finally, bad jokes about the death of the chicken's wife. Yeah! Going above the Great Emu War. 30th, the Banana Republic. we into the good stuff now. This video is usually his first great one. It has funny jokes for one, better character design for second, and goes over everything in more detail for third. The quality compared to when he first started out is insane. The Eisenhower bit is usually his funniest bit thus far. Everything has a good flow, going at the top of the list. Story first, weird laws from around the world. Have you ever wanted to see someone be called a degenerate for letting a kid listen to Elton John? Stop using this joke. I'm not saying it. This one has the fish Jenga joke, so it's automatically better by a long shot. It showcases some laws like the Salmon Act, where you can't use salmon suspiciously or whatever that means. It is vulgar compared to his earlier videos, and I like it for that. Going above an open letter to Smith. 30 seconds, my theory about Neanderthals. Finally, the sex video. This video is about the theory that Samuel has come up with about the way Neanderthals went extinct. Basically, he said that Neanderthals and Homo sapiens had fun playing Payday 2, and basically the Neanderthals had fun with the Homo sapiens, where the Neanderthals did stuff with us instead of them, and it killed their species. So, yeah. Going above protosection poison. 33rd. Plant disease. Well, this is it. The end of the first year. I was right about showing the list at that point earlier. I'll show it again after this. And now, my heart's a season, my lungs are wheezing, I can hear Satan's voice telling me to invest in Apple. That is up there as one of the best segments in one of Samuel's videos. The video has some neat info about some history of different plants and diseases, like the potato blight and the chestnut blight. Overall, really funny, going above a childhood story, and this is the list so far. Yeah, it's getting pretty big so far. I still messed up that part about the forms of carbon alcoholic drinks, but the final list will sort of show the complete version of all of it. So we still have like a good list.
Hey kids, time for another hot steamy load of knowledge dripping down your neck and chest.
The video is great yet again. Samuel explains the life of Diogenes, who is a philosopher who focused on cynicism. He has no possession to his name and lived in a basket. He publicly defecated, wonked his willy in public, and insulted people. Finally, I have a quote from my dad. Frankly, more educational than most universities. My dad, 2023. Going also above a childhood story. 35th, the journey of a beef cow. We get to see a cow get shot of the mother at birth towards walls, so you automatically know it's going to be fantastic. The video is gross, violent, and vulgar, which makes contrast with earlier, years so much. It shows equipment like the stunner, which knocks out the cow, but it doesn't matter right now. It is overall good, so it's going above a childhood story. 36. Exotic animals in ancient Rome. In this one, he talks about events held in ancient Rome that involved animals. He talked about one event where they killed an elephant, but obviously the elephant was freaking out, so people weren't happy in the slightest and ended up being a big mess. There isn't much else to say than it's enjoyable and a bit funny. A little bit of a drop off, but not bad. Going above creative weapons of the medieval era. 37th, origins of phrases. He lies about the meaning of balls deep, so you know it's of high quality. He talks about phrases like getting your goat and mumbo jumbo. He over-exaggerates the origins so they are funny, like saying the horse from the getting your goat section dropkicked to grandma. It's pretty fun to learn what it's pieced together of commonly used phrases. Going above obscure units of measurement. 38. The Tale of Michael Malloy. Was this video all that funny? Not really, no. Was it an entertaining watch? Oh heck yeah. This night before was Samuel talking about a homeless guy in the countless attempts on his life. He survived dozens of shots of wood alcohol, survived getting hit by a car twice, and eating a sandwich of rotting sardines and tacks, which he asked for a second one. What a complete power move. Going above exotic animals in ancient Rome. 39. Terrare, the hungriest man in history. The hungry guy computer file is here. This one's about some guy who had a horribly messed up biology where 90% of his torso was dedicated to food and everything else was the 10%. It followed his depressing life as he tried to fix his problems in any way he could. He ate small animals, garbage, and pretty much anything he could find. And it included cannibalism. He was finally kicked out of the hospital for mishaps when the event took place.
Well, Terrare, you've only had 3 mess hall raids, 4 miscellaneous trash-related mishaps, and 1 cadaver defiling, so I'd say, so far, this week's been pretty good. Doctor, we should probably inform you that a 14-month-old child has gone missing from their room. Terrare, look at me. Did you eat a fucking baby?
It's funny but very tragic, going above my theory about Neanderthals. 40th. Historical misconception for you to bring up during family dinner. 2/3 of the way there, I got this. It goes over some misconceptions like the fact that Einstein was actually a really good student in classes and the fact that no one was actually burned at the stake in the Salem witch trials. A fair amount of people know about the Einstein part, but here's the link to the Salem part, which I'll include in the video. The video isn't very funny, but it's an interesting watch to see what else my neighbor Gerald is lying about. Overall, an enjoyable watch, going above my theory about Neanderthals. 41st. Pre-industrial surgeries. This one's about old surgeries, the complications they pose, and the fact that the number of lenses of someone's eye that's been sucked through a straw is in fact above 0. Which if you do not help me get this glue off my body, I will suck your eyes. It's a little more humorous than the last video, but not by much. It's still an enjoyable watch, but not that funny. Going above deformities you might have. 42nd. Joshua Norton, the only United States Emperor. I will show the list after this one because it's been another year. Joshua is a guy who was stupid rich at one point before making one bad call. A legal battle later and he was homeless. Hey Peanut. He decided to himself that he would be Emperor of the United States of the places you can eat my McDonald's at. He became a local celebrity and everyone liked him. He even put out some of his own dollars, which are a stupid rarity. He ended up passing one day in 1880. Entertaining video and a bit more funny, going above exotic animals in ancient Rome. 43rd. Why proteins suck. Finally, in that or MP4, basically he just talks about ancestors of popular and well-known foods. He mentioned some ancestors of bananas and how the 2 ancestors he mentioned look nothing alike today's bananas. He shows how different the old eggplants look like and how they look like little grapes. Samuel also tossed the guy into the sun, so yeah, it's good. Going above my theory about Neanderthals. Now here is the list because the past another year, overall a good improvement over 2017. '44th. History's worst non-water floods. All 3 stories in this video are about liquor floods. I'm not joking, 3 floods in the world that I know of were caused by liquor flowing through the streets of towns and cities. One of them had a death toll that consisted entirely of alcohol poisoning. Not as funny as the last one, going above Fidel Castro's dairy adventures. 45th. Daniel Dancer, history's biggest cheapskate. This Samuel video talks about the tale of Dan, who is a massive cheapskate. He made a crap ton of money each year and spent next to nothing of it. He only bought how many pieces of clothing each year and Frankensteined his clothing together. He had basically no one he talked to. He was the loner who spent a little money and was rich. Some of the jokes are pretty good, like when he insults his 2018 fanbase claims that Dan is older than his audience. And the one fan is about to destroy the pussy. Going above Troy, the hungriest man in history. 46. Mass hysteria throughout history. He talks about people freaking out for 8 minutes. No, yeah, it's good. It has some funny segments about him just using basic logic to debunk some thoughts people had of certain events. It has Samuel talk about why the sun did not move around and change colors according to one group because duh. He talks about nuns mounting for no reason, which led to a group of mercenaries coming over and whipping them, which as we all know, that's probably not legal or appreciated by God. Overall, quite humorous, going above origins and phrases just because it's a fun watch. 47. Lesser known Christmas folklore characters. There's a comically large cat that eats you, apparently. He talks about more so obscure Christmas folklore characters. Apparently there happens to be 13 things, and they try to inconvenience you. There's also a tradition where a person wears a cloak while holding a stick with a horse skull on it, going above historical misconceptions because it's freaking weird. 48th and 49th, Dead Body Hijinks Part 1 and 2. All just combined into his only two-parter. In the first part, he talks about two stories. The first one, he gets the most attention, so I'll go over that one. He talks about a man and the adventure his corpse went on. He died in 1910 and he traded hands multiple times. He was given to some carnival and then put in storage for 19 years, after being painted with wax to look less corpse-like. So people forgot he was a dead guy. Then when the guy was being moved in the attraction, his arm broke off and everyone found out indeed he was a real corpse. He was promptly buried in his hometown. He ranted again, so going above Joshua Norton. Now in part 2, he talks about times that Pope John Paul II got blood stolen after his death, which happened 3 separate times for some reason. It's pretty funny seeing that the production of being blood in a bag or a church. Then he talks about a crazy guy had visions of this one girl, and he took care of her. Just one problem. It was the early 20th century, and she had tuberculosis. She died a while later, and the crazy guy got permission to build a massive mausoleum. Later, he took her corpse and took care of it. When he was found out 7 years later, he couldn't be charged for anything, so he left. Part 2 messed up, not all that funny after the halfway mark, going above my theory about Neanderthals. 50th. Improbable Tales of Survival. Thought juice. This one's pretty self-explanatory. It goes over 3 stories of people nearly kicking the bucket then and there. You got one guy who had issues with a drill going in one end of the head and out the other. Another guy had his leg turned into toothpaste, and someone had a tampering iron go through his head like a bullet where he lived for 10 more years. It's pretty funny a bit, but I did not need to see bald Jimmy Neutron Samuel. Going above lesser known Christmas folklore characters. 51st. Scandalous popes of the Middle Ages. He talks about some of history's more questionable popes, and the stuff they did. One had the corpse of a previous pope before him dug up and put on trial. That previous pope got tossed into the river. Nobody was happy about that, so the new pope got tossed in jail and killed, while the previous pope's body got recovered safely. Most of this video is humorous on shock value, so I won't spoil it anymore. Go watch it. It's quite a good. Going above Joshua Norton. 52nd. Animals in Space, a brief history. People sent monkeys in space because of science, and this one our good big boy friend Samuel showcases stories of people studying different species of animals in space, and the stories that surround them. It's just a couple interesting, sometimes funny stories, going above exotic animals in ancient Rome. 53rd. Top 10 worst animal skeletons. I'll show the list after this becomes we past yet another year. What do you want me to say? Go over different animal skeletons and why they're bad or how they can be made fun of. My favorite example given was this one species of boar where the teeth grow through their snout and out. This already sounds bad, but in rare cases their teeth can grow to impale the brain and kill them. Pretty funny in parts doing about Joshua Norton. Oh, this video is gonna be long. 54th, obscure obsolete inventions. I can get Samuel merchandise. In this video of Samuel talking into a microphone, he talks about such things as the revolver mousetrap, which domes rats, and a baby cage, so you can hang a baby out of your house. Some of these inventions are so bad yet so good. Fairly funny and overall enjoyable, going above top 10 worst animal skeleton. 55th, true story about chimps and monkeys. This one is a story of a monkey learning how to say fork in American Sign Language. That's pretty cool. That's another story of a monkey being raised as a person being into alcohol materials not suited for the Christian household. They sent said monkey to a chimp rehab thing in Gambia, where the monkey learned the ways of not looking at poor, sad people cannot afford clothing. Pretty funny and entertaining, going above obscure obsolete inventions. But also one last thing, I did not put this in the script, but the monkey that was raised as a person who got into a rehab thing, like the monkey successfully went through the rehab thing. It's just that later on, it got poached. So 56, the presidential assassination nobody talks about. Hey John, remember that time I was the President of the United States? Honestly, this might be his best video. The jokes always land. There are also a large amount of background jokes. This one's hilarious. The video talks about the life of Charles J. Guiteau. It's upbringing, his religious life, and political life leading up to him assassinating James A. Garfield. Charles was a complete lunatic who wanted complete approval of everyone around him, and because of that no one liked him. He was extremely religious, yet didn't follow a lot of morals in Christianity, if any. All in all, he was a terrible human being who didn't care for those around him. A great video all around, also as long as that 12 minutes long, going at the top of the list. Man. 57, the wild world of Inuit folklore. He talks about some folklore, he goes over some stories that include that the sun and moon were made, all while making jokes about how the one human being cut off the area of her chest which make go, hey, or then she fit the oddly shaped Walmart gift cards into a bowl and threw him at her brother. I'm just going to leave, bye. Going above top 10 worst animal skeletons. 58, the Timothy Dexter, the dumbest rags to riches story. In the part where it said Timmy Dexter was the greatest philosopher in the Western world, it paused for longer than it did originally on that line because I then got a Wendy's ad. The time before tells the story of Timmy Dexter, who is a complete moron, who got extremely lucky where he basically printed money on everything he did. It tells the story of his business life and his personal life. His personal life is really funny purely because of how much of a psycho he is. Have you ever faked your own death? Then when you realize your wife is not crying at your funeral, you jump out and assault her. If the answer is no, good, you have done good. Have a going above scandals published with the Middle Ages. 59th, World War II unlucky ship, the William D. Porter. The final three, I got this. This is the story of the Willie D. The crew on that ship were a bunch of morons who were grossly incompetent. They almost killed the president one time. After that, they were stationed elsewhere in Alaska. After a while, they were moved back to the main battle. Then a kamikaze pilot missed them later on since they put their attention elsewhere before they moved over the frickin' plane, causing them to blow up the ship and then having to leave. It's pretty funny going above the world of Inuit folklore. After this, our big old friend Samuel would leave for 2 years, and in that time, it would take one video down from the YouTube channel, and that video is 59.5 Fun Facts about Sigmund Freud. This video came out in September of 2016. Around the time of this video, a few announcements came out. This is important for later. He released this after his summer vacation ended, which is explained in the few announcements video. He talked about Sigmund, who is a complete lunatic who said idiotic things that made everyone hate him, and looked into the human psyche, which helped everyone realize that the human mind is more complex than meets the eye. It's not that the video ain't very good, it's just dark for the sake of being dark. The main part where it makes sense why it got removed is because Samuel in 2016 has a dark side. And yes, I know, it's a product of its time and all that. Samuel just says the N-word, uncut. It isn't funny and just disturbing, bottom of the list. I'm almost done with Sammy Boy in his learning shack. 60th, where animal scientific names come from. Donkey Kong, the fuck you doing? This month's about some fun, dumb, and bizarre scientific names for animals. It thinks about the fact that there are so many names for animal feet for some reason. This was released after a long hiatus from the internet, and it's still of high quality. The jokes are funny and still manage that controversial level of humor while not overdoing it in parts like the previous video. Each recommendation going above weird laws from around the world. Also, remember when I said that I thought his see you in 2025 joke was probably not a lie? Yeah, it was a joke. Last video, Dong Dong Zhong, the dog meat general. I probably butchered that name so badly. And Samuel Onalo just said at the end of the video, he is in my fridge. Yeah, I don't need food, I'll be fine. This one's another good one. It tells the story of a very stinky guy who was a warlord during the World War era of China. He was a crazy violent guy who killed a bunch of people on top of disrespecting deities, so people loved him for that. He had to leave China as it was reunifying and fast. A couple years later, he vacationed there before being assassinated by a relative of someone he killed. Overall, enjoyable video. Going above the journey of a beef cow. I just looked up and this is what I see. And that's the end of the ranking. 62 videos in all. Seeing how style has evolved, changed, and witnessing his missteps in this content is really interesting. Going from trying to be a bit offensive to completely overblowing it and then backpedaling a bit to fixing it is fun to see. It is shocking how good his first video is compared to mine or others of the like. Overall, Samuel has provided us with consistently enjoyable content since late 2016. Now it's time for the final list. First off, you got fun facts about Sigmund Freud at the bottom. Then you have forms of carbon's alcoholic drinks, the fire, a brief history of sushi food Fridays, beginner's guide to unit cycling tips Tuesdays, how to gain weight, why thorium rocks, science Sundays, Tycho Brahe, where religious symbols come from, that happened Thursdays, animal weakness, literal animal planets, wildlife Wednesdays, how to read fire diamonds, South Sudan, the world's newest country, baby superpowers, the bombardier beetle, cicada broods, the different kinds of straws, the Great Emu War, why the chicken got domesticated, the Shrike, deformities that you might have, pre-industrial surgeries, slang words that I don't understand, why it sucked to be a pirate, the Los Castros, and dairy adventure. History's worst non-water floods, dog breed deformities, produce section poisons, food Fridays, my theory about Neanderthals, dead body hijinks part 2, why produce used to suck, historical misconceptions for the bring up during family dinner, lesser known than Christmas folklore characters, improbable tales of survival, Terrare, the hungriest man in history, Daniel Dancer, history's biggest cheapskate, creative weapons of the medieval era, exotic animals in ancient Rome, animals in space, a brief history, Joshua Norton, the only United States Emperor, top 10 worst animal skeletons, the wild world of Inuit folklore, World War II's unlucky ship the William D. Porter, obscure obsolete inventions, true stories about chimps, the scandals post-Middle Ages, Timothy Dexter, the dumbest writer story, Dead Body Hijink, Part 1, The Tale of Michael Moore. My voice is dying. Obscure units of measurement, origins of phrases, mass hysteria throughout history, a childhood story, miscellaneous Mondays, the journey of a beef cow, Song Song Shong, the dogme general, diogenes the publicly defecating philosopher, plant diseases, noble art of Swiss myth, weird law from around the world, where animal scientific names come from, the Banana Republic, and the presidential assassination nobody talks about. Oh, fuck. Fuck. After all of this, I have one thing that I would like to add to all of this. Send help, the glue is eating me!